What's up, galera? How is everyone doing today? I'm going to make another video in English to teach the gringos a little bit about Brazil. Man, it's a country that I really love. I've learned so much from Brazil. I've learned so much about Brazilians. And there are certain things that Brazilians do that I think the rest of the world could learn from. Of course, these things exist in other countries. Every country does certain things well, certain things not so well. I'm speaking from my background, which is from the United States. But even traveling, it's hard to find a country that does all these things that Brazilians do. So here are 10 things that the rest of the world could learn from Brazilians. I made this video in Portuguese and everyone asked me to make this video in English to share with their English-speaking friends, so I hope you like it. Give it a thumbs up. First one is hospitality. There are many countries that are really hospitable, but it's hard to find one as friendly and as welcoming as Brazilians. When you arrive in Brazil, everyone wants to show you around. They want you to try the local food. They'll invite you to a barbecue. They'll invite you to their grandma's house. And the thing you'll hear most is, "Já comeu? Quer experimentar alguma coisa? Have you eaten? Would you like to try something?" And they won't let you leave until you're really full. So they are super welcoming. They'll give you a ride around their town, especially if you go to a small town. They'll show you around. They'll take you to waterfalls, private beaches. I mean, I've never seen that. In the United States, even when you're really close friends, sometimes you don't get the invite to the beach house. But a Brazilian, first time they meet you, sometimes they'll invite you to the beach house. But sometimes that invitation is just lip service, but they're still a super friendly, welcoming place. I've never felt so welcome as a foreigner. They really want to make sure that you have a good time and love their country. Second thing is the affection they show for each other. This is going to depend a lot on different cultures, but speaking from an American perspective, we are a little bit, I don't want to say cold, but reserved in the way we show emotion. Even among family and friends, maybe we shake hands instead of hug. There's very few kisses on the cheek, and when you meet someone in Brazil, the first time, it's customary to give a kiss on the cheek. Depending on the city, it could be 2, even 3. And there's always hugs, and when you leave, if you don't say goodbye to everyone, that is like just the rudest thing. It can get a little annoying sometimes actually, but you have to say goodbye to everyone individually. But it's also cool because everyone really takes time to show affection. They don't have a problem demonstrating physically their affection and also with words. I feel like Americans sometimes are afraid to say how they feel. So I think that's a really good thing, and it kind of makes you feel more free. I find it easier even to express these feelings in Portuguese. É mais fácil falar sobre essas coisas em português. Third thing is hygiene. Brazil is a super hygienic country. They are super hygienic people. Brazil is hot, so you would think that if you're on a crowded bus, it would smell terrible. But actually, people take a lot of showers. They'll at least take 2 showers a day because it's a hot country. And brushing their teeth is kind of like a religion. So they will bring their toothbrush everywhere. So it could be right after lunch, they're brushing their teeth. I think at least 4 times a day, which it's pretty good. I think in the United States, it's not so common to see someone brushing their teeth at lunchtime, and I think it should be. It's a good habit. Speaking about this good oral hygiene, I think there's no kiss like the kiss from a Brazilian. I mean, I've experienced a few. I've not experienced every country in the world, of course, but compared to maybe America, I think people are much more reserved, much more inhibited. So when you kiss a Brazilian, I can only speak about a Brazilian girl, but when you kiss a Brazilian, it could be in public. They're not afraid. It's not a big deal. It also doesn't necessarily lead to anything more. It's a very kissing culture. So they really take pride in a good, passionate kiss. So if you have never kissed a Brazilian girl, or if you like Brazilian guys, if you've never kissed a Brazilian guy, I think you should try it. Unless you're married, then nope, don't do it. Don't do it. Another thing that is super important is cold beer. When Brazilians travel abroad, they can't understand how people could drink beer that is warm. It's like another thing besides brushing their teeth. Cold beer is like a religion. You have to keep the beer super cold, and it has to be like when you touch it, like your hand almost gets frostbite cold, that kind of cold, because it's a really hot country, so that beer is gonna get warm fast. Ice can get hot, so you gotta keep it cold. People take a lot of pride in making sure there's ice, and the beer has to be cold. If it's not cold, it's kind of like an offense. So people will definitely send back beer that is not cold. So cold beer, just do it. Besides an extremely expressive language, which is Portuguese, the slang is amazing. So I'm gonna make a video about the slang, a special video, but the gestures. Brazilian people have gestures that are just hilarious. They can say so much without even opening their mouths. For example, what do you think this means? I don't care, I don't care. Or this one, a long time ago, a long time ago. And one of my favorites, maybe not the nicest, but what do you think this is? Roubando, né? Someone's stealing. Could be the government, could be the ref in the soccer match. Next one is enjoying food. Now, of course, a lot of cultures have rich food traditions, and I'm speaking more specifically to the American culture, which they do enjoy food, but it's not so much of like a social event all the time. It's kind of fast. It's like we are a fast food culture. A lot of times we eat lunch at our desk, 10 minutes for lunch. Really, you're not enjoying your day. Does it make you more productive? Maybe, maybe not. Are you really getting that extra work done, or you're just kind of looking up fantasy football stats. I don't know. But Brazilians enjoy a nice long lunch. It's a traditional thing. And Americans don't even have a word for tipo bon appetit. Like we use the French word bon appetit. There's no exact word for enjoy your food. So I think most cultures, almost every culture, every language has a way of expressing that, and America doesn't. So I think Brazil, they have a great lunch. And lunch is the principal meal of the day. Sometimes they eat at home with their family. They'll take that break from work to eat at home. I think it's a nice way to kind of connect with people in the middle of the day. When you go to a concert, generally everyone knows all the lyrics to the song, and there's kind of a dance between the singer and the crowd where the singer will stop singing and the crowd will just come in, and it really just like leaves you with goosebumps. It's an incredible feeling. I've seen it in other shows, but I haven't seen it anywhere near the way it's done in Brazil, where you just get all goosebumps. People are singing, people are crying, singing the lyrics. It's a crazy, surreal experience that, you know, if I would wish everyone the chance. Maybe Rock in Rio, you'll get to see it. Rock in Rio is a cool event that happens. I've noticed Brazilians do not define themselves by their work. This is true in many other cultures as well, but in the United States, whenever I come back and I'm just sitting at a bar, everyone is talking about work. Work this, work that. My boss said this, my coworker did that. But when they say, what do you do? They're always defining themselves by work. My job title is my identity. We're in Brazil, and actually in a lot of other countries, people don't tend to see themselves by their job title. They see themselves more by their hobbies or what they like. Okay, don't get me wrong. You need to work, you need to make money, it's important. But to define yourself by a job title, I don't know. I'd rather define myself by a passion, and if that passion makes money, even better. Finally, this is gonna be a little bit controversial because I think a lot of countries think their country has the best barbecue, but I think you're gonna have a hard time finding a better barbecue than a Brazilian barbecue. And I'm not just talking about the meat, which is great. You know, Brazil is a huge food producer, so there's tons of cattle, tons of chickens, I mean, I don't know the stats, but it's up there with the United States. But the whole barbecue scene is just amazing. It's every Sunday, all the families there, people have beer, and it's cold, and the cuts of meat I think are just different. There's picanha, there's alcatra, and generally instead of like just serving like a hamburger or a hot dog, they cut the meat into small pieces and everyone kind of takes a little. It's more of a social event. I think if you haven't been to a churrasco brasileiro, you haven't really lived. So I hope everyone gets to experience these things that I know have really changed my life. Just living with Brazilians, it's kind of opened me up to new experiences. It's a cool thing. Listen, you don't need a visa to visit Brazil anymore, so what are you waiting for? Great country. I'm not even getting paid to make this advertisement for Brazil. It's de coração. It's from the heart. I know it's valeu. Peace!